Hello and welcome to the Join Dota League Season 4 here on HeflaTV 2. Before us we have a best of 2 between afterShock Gaming and XPC. I'm Grandis V, and for this game and series I'll be joined by Mike Loris.
Yeah, so I actually haven't seen these two teams in quite a long time. They've been kind of bubbling near the surface and not quite in Division 1, but I think as far as the Division 2 teams are concerned for the European division, these teams are definitely near there. So it might be next season where we see them break through, but for right now, hopefully it'll just be a good game regardless. They're both doing pretty well so far. XPC is 6-2 and afterShock is 4-2.
Yeah, definitely. Unfortunately, I forgot to change all of my settings beforehand, so you're gonna have to look at me while I do that. Okay, we're all good now. The early bans coming out are fairly standard from either side. Batrider is getting some pretty high praise, but other than that, it's looking pretty par for the course with Razor and Death Prophet taken out of the pool. I also haven't really seen them play, especially on this new patch. I think I've only seen them play once apiece, and that's really not enough to really get an idea of how they play. As far as the betting odds are concerned, afterShock seem to be incredibly favored, but I don't think that's, I don't know, giving respect to XPC. I think both of these teams are definitely capable of taking games off of each other, but for now, XPC are taking their time with this second ban, which is fairly peculiar.
I think it probably is consideration between Brewmaster and maybe a support like Skywrath Mage. Batrider getting banned out is a little bit out of the ordinary, and it actually is going to be a Viper, so I guess I'm just completely off the mark there. But Brewmaster still in the pool. You could open up with an Ogre if you want to. Many teams do like to do that. So, powerful heroes for sure. Death Prophet Viper, though. I mean, this seems like a 0.81 type of draft so far.
Yeah, definitely. I think both of those heroes deserve a place fairly early on in the draft, but the Viper especially, I think, could be ignored. Right now, he's just not as strong as he used to be. Building mech on him isn't as viable, and I think some of those other supports are a little bit scarier. Right now, afterShock are going to have their choice of first pick. I think Brewmaster is probably one of the first heroes on their mind. But if they don't go for it... Okay, there we go. There's the Brew. If they do go for it, XPC are probably going to snag up the Skywrath Mage.
Yeah, and when you open up with Brewmaster against the Skywrath Mage, you're not feeling too great. It is possible that you get the split off anyway. Maybe Skywrath is out of position, but it's just such a easy, clean counter that it is probably going to be in XPC's mind. And if you do go for that Skywrath Mage, then hey, you might want to go with the Faceless Void to partner up with that. You have a nice little combo within those two heroes, and hey, if there's one part, are we going to be 100% right? Oh, damn. Well, I mean, Jakiro's still pretty good.
Yeah, definitely. Even though he doesn't, I don't know, set up for the Skywrath Mage Mystic Flare that well, Ice Path into Mystic Flare is okay, but kind of a nombo. Yeah, it's still a really nice hero in and of himself, fairly versatile. This could be our supporting duo, but I tend to like Core Jakiro a little bit more. Just giving him those early levels, as well as maybe a mechanism for his team, or maybe some utility in Yule's Scepter, just seems to work really well, getting down those early tier 1s and tier 2s.
10 seconds to
Yeah,
go.
so right now, XPC, they should be looking to play this Jakiro as core. If you pick him up this early and you plan to play him as support, you're probably doing it wrong. But you can always transition over to support if need be. The pushing is going to be there for XPC for sure. They haven't invested too much, and with the Jakiro, even if you do lane him in a core position, you don't really have to go all out in the pushing. Of course you can if you decide to go for a Lycan or something like that, then yeah, it's pretty clear what you're trying to do, but for right now, XPC, they're going to be taking towers at least a lot easier than afterShock, because they pick up an Ogre Magi. Both these two heroes are very good at killing heroes, not as much about killing structures or even killing Roshan.
Yeah, definitely. Brewmaster's decent in the Roshan pit, but Ogre doesn't really foster that type of play. They still have plenty of picks in order to remedy that fact, but I still like the Ogre choice series. One of the better supports that's left in the pool. Offers the chance of doing ridiculous amount of burst, and even without getting multicast on your Fire Blast, just being able to control people up with the stun as well as the slow coming out from Ignite, and then giving Bloodlust to your carries is always some nice utility to have on your team.
All right, so after this, afterShock, it seems like they're going to be playing a very aggressive killing enemy heroes type of game, whereas XPC, I mean, obviously the killing heroes is going to be good for them too, but they're going to be mostly targeting those towers. Initiation is going to be very important, and that's kind of why we see Centaur being banned out right now. afterShock, with the Brewmaster pickup, kind of already have more initiation than XPC. Jakiro can initiate on single targets if he finds them all alone with the Yule Scepter into an Ice Path, and that's pretty good. But really, they need blinkers. Both teams do. And we see afterShock taking care to get rid of some of those blinkers and Tide Centaur. And we actually see Ancient Apparition being banned out by XPC as well as a Slark.
Yeah, not sure if the Ancient Apparition ban is necessary here, unless XPC are thinking of picking up something like maybe a Necrophos, but they're going to go for the Void. He slipped his way through this pool, and it's going to help their initiation power by quite a bit. As for afterShock, they'll go for the Vengeful Spirit, really nice defensively up against the Scarith Mage as well as the Faceless Void, being able to pull people out of that Mystic Flow. Although, more often than not, you're going to lose your Venge's life, you're saving your carry, which is what they're there for. Invoker, the next pick for XPC, is going to be even more damage to pump into the Chronosphere, and they have that in droves.
Oh man, yeah, they have so much stuff to just throw into that sphere. Even if it's a Wex Voker, like you have a Jakiro and Scarith Mage, honestly, you don't need any more damage, so you might as well just go for a mana utility build. And actually, against aftershock, I wouldn't mind seeing that. Like, it's not really the most common build for sure as Invoker, but right now they don't really have that much setup in order to actually land a Sunstrike until you get a Chronosphere up. So going for a Wex Invoker build for XPC might not be too bad here, and they do need one more support, I think. I'm still assuming Jakiro is going to play core. They have a good amount of team fighting, have a lot of damage, and they have a little bit of pushing now, even more so with the Invoker pickup. Aftershock, they have the Vengeful Spirit Ogre Magi. I mean, you get the dual stuns. It doesn't really get much better than that, but they still need to actually go somewhere with their lineup, as right now they're keeping very open.
Yeah, definitely. As for XPC, their last pick, I'm not sure if this Invoker is going to swing towards either side, but the Orchid at this point would be really nice for him, which is usually the build you see Waxing Invokers tend towards. But if they got something along the lines of an Earthshaker Sand King as their last support, they might consider just leaving that Invoker as an Exhort Invoker, offering them more pushing power as well as the damage from the Sunstrikes, especially if they get the early Blink Dagger from the Sand King. It definitely could work out for them. As for Aftershock, yeah, they don't really lend themselves towards any particular style of play. Up against this lineup coming out from XPC, it's pretty hard to fight into, especially whenever they have Chronosphere up. I'm not exactly sure what they're going to decide to combat that with, as there's not really anything very easy to do in order to stop that type of initiation. Vengeful Spirit swaps are nice, but it's unlikely they're going to go for any more supports. They need something that can survive through a Chronosphere potentially, or, I don't know, do damage inside of it. It's going to be an Ember.
Yeah, well, XPC, they don't really have that many great tools at dealing with Ember Spirit. You know, Chronosphere, Ice Path, the Silence from Scarith Mage are all pretty decent if you actually manage to land those. Thought maybe they would go a little bit closer to the lines of Puck, a very elusive hero, and could really make XPC work for those kills. Storm Spirit would have been kind of the similar way, although I think a little bit less effective. Aftershock, they're still, I mean, remaining just very open. It is going to be a very even, middle-of-the-road ground type of build for them, which is fine. I mean, all of these heroes are extremely playable. They are very good at what they do. But I just feel like they don't gel together as much as XPC. They have, XPC, a very cut-and-dry kind of idea with their draft. It's, we're going to push, and when it comes to a team fight, whoever gets caught in that Chronosphere is dead meat. Aftershock, you're just like, well, we have a lot of powerful heroes, and that's happening.
Yeah. They don't benefit from the Bloodlust that much, but the extra damage from the Vengeful Spirit's going to be really nice for them. As far as heroes that could tie this together, you would really like to have something like a Tidehunter as that last pick for Aftershock, even though they'd be very melee heavy. Just having that Ravage to dump into the Chronosphere and maybe delay some of the damage thereof, or setting up a fight of your own could be really nice for them. Puck's still on the table, and the Magnus was banned out for them. Magnus would have worked pretty well in a similar fashion to that Puck and Tidehunter, although offering that cleave to the Ember Spirit would have been wonderful for them.
Well, for XPC, I'm still assuming they're going to be needing one more support. Ideally, it should be someone with the stun, although the heroes, the support heroes that are ranged, that have stuns, are kind of slim right now. A CM wouldn't be too terrible. Rubik also would be a pretty solid pick for them. I mean, they don't honestly need any other heroes that do damage. Scarith Mage, Jakiro, Void, Invoker, these are all heroes that have that department covered. So really, XPC can go for pretty much anything. Rubik actually won't be too terrible here. They need more Disable to lock down this Ember Spirit.
Yeah, I'd like to see Rubik, maybe Earthshaker coming out from them, but it's going to be an Enigma. A lot of big teamfight ultimates coming out from them, and this way they don't have to fully rely on the Chronosphere, but their lanes are going to be suffering decently because of it, and potentially give an opening for the Ogre and Vengeful Spirit to roam around and kill this Invoker and Faceless Void fairly early on.
Yeah, and they were probably going to be doing that. They were probably going to be doing that anyway. VS Ogre are two very aggressive support heroes, especially when you pair them together. The Enigma, I think, is potentially a little bit overkill. I mean, it's certainly going to be nice for the additional amount of push that you get very early on. Pair that up with potentially Forge Spirits, definitely Liquid Fire, since with the Enigma pick, Jakiro's now guaranteed almost to be a core hero. They will be able to bulldoze towers that much easier, and Aftershock are kind of light on the AoE, on the creep clearing, so in that regard, it's pretty nice, but I don't know, I feel like it's It's just perfectly average right now. And aftershock, well, I mean, they're just gonna keep on with perfectly average. Still, they're gonna lack creep clearing, but they will have nature's prophet. So maybe they're just going to rely on VS Ogre in order to keep control of this early game and have nature's prophet help out with that.
Yeah, I think those are the heroes to watch in the early game. They're the ones that need to do stuff for aftershock, and they're the ones that XPC need to avoid, or at the very least stop their ganks from netting them kills on important targets. We should be getting into the game fairly shortly. This early game for XPC is going to be fairly passive, but if the Ogre, Magi, and Vengeful Spirit aren't successful in their ganks, they're going to get farm on pretty much 4 heroes. Jakiro presumably farming up in the off lane or safe lane, whichever one Faceless Void's not in, and yeah, it could work out wonderfully for them. But if the Ogre and Vengeful Spirit are able to punish this Enigma pick and
10 seconds to go.
focus on the weakness of their lanes, aftershock are going to be in a good situation. I think it really depends on how these lanes work out. That said, into the game we're going to go on the Radiant side is XPC International, with the supports being handled by Scarth, Mage, played by Skanks. Jakiro is going to be played by Relax, Water taking up the mid Invoker. Enigma is going to be played by Spartan, and then that will leave, last but not least, Madero on the offlane Faceless Void.
And on Aftershock, we have Jalopy, who's going to be playing the Ember Spirit, along with everyone else heading towards the bottom lane. Mind Control on the Brewmaster, Zeroji on the Ogre, Kefka being playing Nature's Prophet, and then last but not least, we have Magoma on the Vengeful Spirit. You said a lot of this game is going to boil down to the lanes. I think that is completely true, and really the heroes that are going to dictate that are going to be Aftershock support heroes. The VS and Ogre, the more active they are, the more success they have, the better this game is going to be for Aftershock. If these two supports, for whatever reason, are not doing anything, they're just pulling and just playing super passively, then XPC should have a very good time with that game.
Yeah, definitely. The early rotation coming out from aftershock, they're not going to place any wards, and they don't find a first blood either, so it's a little bit of wasted time from them. I'd like to see some of their supports place some wards deep in the enemy woods. Maybe not this deep, however. They're thinking about placing an observer ward of some sort. They have some sentries to block camps as well. They'll take out the medium camp away from the Enigma. You still should have access to this large camp. And I think, more than anything, this is just going to bump the Enigma over to the large and medium camps, over closer to the lane. They're also going to block out the large camp, so Enigma, he still has some room inside his jungle, although the place that he'd most likely be farming is now away from him.
Yeah, usually you see teams block the pulling camps just because not only do you hit the Enigma in his jungling pattern, but you also hit whoever's in the lane. That's actually not what they decided to do. These camps are very rarely touched. I kind of agree with the Sentry, as that camp is pretty easy to take and it kind of ties your entire route together. But the Observer, that camp is a little bit more off to the side, and well, Spartan is going to be a little bit upset that he sees that the camp is not spawning, so he's going to know that something's up. He will Sentry this one Observer. That's going to be one down, but then he's very quickly going to realize that there is another Sentry somewhere, and I think he should be able to clear this one as well. It's kind of hidden, though. Usually you see it on the high ground.
Yeah. I'm not sure this is going to be successful, especially since there's a treant walking around in here. Maybe he'll be able to body block these camps before it's down. He'll drop the sentry, and unfortunately for him, it's outside of the range of the sentry ward that was placed. So Spartan is going to be wasting about this first minute of the game. Faceless Void up in top is not having a very fun time up against the Ogre as well as the Venge Ember Spirit lane. If you get stunned too close to the Ember, they can chain stun you for a long time. Even though they're not the highest damage supports at this level, Madero needs to be careful. He's currently going to be trading some hits with Magoma, but he's very low level. Ignite is going to be thrown his way, and he's going to be forced to eat through his regen, but he has a lot of that, with 2 stacks of Tangos as well as a South.
It looks like there was another sentry dropped in the Radiant jungle. Unfortunately, just out of range, and now Enigma is down quite a bit of gold just because he killed off one Observer, getting 50, which is kind of nice, but he will be able to jungle nonetheless. As we said, Aftershock's wards are not really going to be crippling the Enigma, just going to be more or less a minor annoyance for him. Looking at the Invoker, he has gone for Exort into Wex. If I remember correctly, for what I've seen of XPC, this is just standard Invoker stuff. They like to get the early point in Alacrity, and it doesn't really indicate that he's going to go for an Exort build or a Wex build, but I think it is, with this opening, most likely going to be an Exort build, or more likely to be one of those as opposed to a Wex build.
Yeah, I think that's fair, and Water should have a decent time in this lane, although for now, Brewmaster is with the advantage. That's gonna change, even though he does have the bottle running. Faceless Void's almost completely zoned out of top, able to pick up some experience, but even not that much, not even ticking his level 2 yet. Whereas the Nature's Prophet has been fairly annoying, and although he can't protect his towers, at least getting some experience under it.
Yeah, Jakiro is going to be one of those heroes that is okay with pushing just because every single time he pushes, he is guaranteed quite a bit of damage onto your tower. So that's good for Jakiro. That's exactly what he wants. He wants to bring down your towers, but it's also good for the Nature's Prophet, who's able to manage the creep wave incoming with his Treants, and then he's guaranteed a little bit of experience here and there. So overall, the Nature's Prophet, though he's not having a good time by any means, he has 0 CS. He's getting some experience. And if you get levels on the Nature's Prophet, then gold is soon to follow, as you will be able to jungle a lot easier with Nature's Call. Or hell, you could even get to level 6 and then be aggressive with the Wrath of Nature. Top lane, Madra is going to be once again aggressed upon by Zeroji and Magoma. This is like the 3rd or 4th time they've been doing this. Just committing an Ignite, no magic missile or anything like that needed. And they put a lot of damage in the Faceless Void, and any damage that they don't put on is redeemed by the fact that they force out a Time Walk, which is kind of just damage to his mana pool, if that makes any sense. It's still effective in order to keep the Faceless Void out of lane.
Yeah, without that Time Walk, he needs to play quite a bit more defensively. Outside of this Faceless Void, the other lanes are going nicely for XPC, and their Enigma's starting to pick up some traction in the jungle, but the Nature's Prophet is going to be aggressive on. The Sunstrike lands, but they don't have enough damage to secure that kill. Is going to be forced to tango up.
Well, Nature's Prophet is going to be dodging death for one time. He does know now that the Invoker has eyes in the bottom lane, so he has to be a little bit more careful with this Nature's Prophet. But again, the Jakiro and Scarith Mage combo, though they do have a lot of magical damage, like a ton of it, they don't really have that much lockdown. So actually landing these Sunstrikes is going to be pretty challenging for the Invoker. Not impossible by any stretch, but he will not have anyone to reliably set up for him. The Enigma stuns isn't really there yet. Mind Control has a haste, and he's going to run to Spartan. Unfortunately for the Brew, that's an invisible Enigma, and you cannot kill him.
Yeah, and Mind Control is going to make his way up towards top. Let's see. We do have a smoke coming up from the Ogre and Venge. This is the first rotation they made out of their safe lane. They're looking to get a kill into Water. Water might not expect this, but if he's fast on his fingers, he does have a Ghost Walk, and I don't think there's detection on these supports. They do have 1 sentry on the Ogre, so that might be enough to get this kill. Let's see if Water is going to be too aggressive, but for now, he's playing defensively enough.
Yeah, I mean, he knows that the enemy supports were on the top lane, therefore you might as well play a little bit further down to the south. It doesn't really hurt you and you're CSing or anything like that, and it keeps you perfectly safe. So Water's going to dodge that gank really without even trying. Like, as long as you position yourself closer to the south exit of the lane, I guess you could say, then you should be fine if you expect the enemy supports to come from top. And with the enemy supports being on the top lane, that's usually a pretty safe assumption. So right now, still 0-0, 5 minutes into the game, and Ogre Magi Venge, they actually haven't done that much. Yes, they've shut down the Faceless Void and denied him a lot of experience, but so far, no First Blood is going to mean a little bit of a weakness for afterShock. However, they're going to open up under the Faceless Void one more time. They're going to latch him with the Shackles, and now another Fire Blast. Madra's going to drop. jDL4 draws First Blood, killing off the Faceless Void. All it took was for them to tower dive him with only 1 support. Who knew?
Yeah, I don't know, they probably could have done that quite a long time ago, but the Faceless Void is going to be the one to give up First Blood. Still having a pretty awful lane, hasn't even used most of his regen because he hasn't had the mana to really sustain himself. And now with the Vengeful Spirit rotating in, they're going to shackle down Madeira as well. The Venge might be able to get a decent magic missile off, but Madeira does have a Time Walk that should keep him safe theoretically. It's going to get the Time Walk off, not in range, oh, barely in range for that magic missile. Madeira now under the tower is being dove by jDL4, juking through the trees as best he can, is probably going to die unless he gets the god of all backtracks behind him. It's not going to happen. It's going to be another death for this Faceless Void.
Man, level 2 in the Flame Guard, level 3 Searing Chains does a crap ton of damage. Bottom lane, Kefka is in quite a bit of trouble as well. Sunstrike is going to miss one more time. Actually, very well read by the Nature's Prophet. Unfortunately for him, he was pretty much dead either way, so it doesn't really matter in the end. Ogre is going to teleport in. However, it seems like Skanks and Relax are more than okay, unless the Jakiro... Well, he doesn't have a TP, so he's just going to hide for a little while longer. Skank's going to run into jDL4. It's going to be a 3rd kill for the Ember. Do they know that Jakiro's still here? Oh, yeah, hell yeah, they do. They're going to get a little bit more vision, and now Jakiro's spotted out, and now Jakiro should be dead. jDL4, get in there. There we go. They see him. Nature's Prophet is going to be teleporting in. Kefka wants a little bit of revenge, a little bit of experience here and there. Jakiro's going to be dropping. Ogre Magi to take that one. And jDL4, he's getting a really nice start on this Ember Spirit. Like 3 kills, 34 CS. Can it get any better for an Ember?
Not really. 3-0-1 this Ember Spirit's well on his way towards getting his drums completed after the phase boots. And he's also pretty much getting all of the levels he could want, even though he has been laned up in top. In mid, we have a Black Hole commit to Mind Control, as well as a Sunstrike Meteor onto the Brewmaster. Not a chance to get off that split.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to go for a gank on the Brewmaster, you have to commit everything there. If Scarith Mage had a Mystic Flare, they wouldn't have needed the Black Hole, I don't think. but I don't know, maybe the lockdown was completely necessary. Actually, it was, because there's only level 1 Malphus on Spartan. So once again, it's XPC with very low amounts of stuns. This time it works out for them just because they use the big daddy of all stuns, but next time it's not exactly guaranteed, and that next time is, or the next time it is guaranteed, it's going to be in a very huge 3 minutes.
Yeah, definitely. Relax, he did buy out before dying over in the jungle, so he didn't lose that much gold. Currently, Skywrath Mage is making his way into the Roshan pit to place a ward. It should spot out the Nature's Prophet decently well, and he wasn't spotted dropping that ward. Currently inside the river, there's going to be a time walk in to pick up a haste room for the Faceless Void. He should keep himself safe. Madera still waiting for that crucial level 6, which is really when XPC can start looking for some more guaranteed kills. It's kind of like the Black Hole. If they're able to drop their spells inside of it, it's almost guaranteed that you're able to get a kill, but they don't have that available, which is important for XPC.
Mid lane Ogre looking for a little bit of blood. Mind Control is going to struggle to get close enough to the Invoker, though. And if Invoker smells something coming, and he should because they have an Observer, then really there's no chance for the Invoker to go down here. afterShock, I mean, they are on paper playing correctly in order to deal with this Invoker, but they're just not finding the correct opportunities at the correct time. So it is going to be Invoker picking up not the fastest hand of Midas in the world, but still relatively quick. And now the levels are going to start flowing for him. It's going to be just a matter of time before he hits 4 in the Quas and 4 in the Exhort, and then the pushing from XPC can really get going. We haven't really been seeing that much. Bottom lane tower is roughed up quite badly, and now they're going to dive Kefka down there. They will miss with pretty much everything, so they're not going to get anything, but they swap back Skywrath Mage into a Magic Missile. Liquid Fire is going to slow it down, but not by that much, as Jakiro might be able to get this kill. Where is the Sunstrike? There it is. Kaboom! Vengeful Spirit goes down, and Invoker's going to take that one home. It's a support for support, and the tower does get destroyed. Relax with Liquid Fire. Takes that one down. Is now going to look to dive Kefka a little bit more. Probably not going to happen. In the meantime, they find Faceless Void and bring him down. It's going to be a nice little win, I suppose, for afterShock, but they lose a tower. Kind of to be expected up against a Jakiro lane, though.
Yeah, definitely. Usually up against a Jakiro lane, your best hope is to look for that deny, but they're not able to find it. Now Jakiro can rotate. Also, they spent the glyph after the tower destroyed, so that's going to be on cooldown for them, so they're not going to have it for the next towers that are going to be pushed by the Jakiro. Will be refreshed if they take down another tier 1, but that next tier 1 tower push is going to be that much easier, and in fact, it might be a tier 2 taken by Relax. It is going to be a jump in mid. Sunstrike lands onto Mind Control. He does get the split off, however, and now looking to make a turn onto Skanks, going through the boulder into him with these Brewlings. Should have plenty of damage, uses the Windwalk for a little bit of extra right click, but can't actually get that kill since the Fire Panda was tanking tower and fell. He's going to throw another boulder into Spartan, and we'll back off with the Earth Panda. He should survive here, although he's going to get Malphus. Now slowed silence, he's going to fall.
He was 27 gold away from his Blink Dagger, so Brewmaster getting jumped at pretty much the worst time, and then was playing a little bit greedy, honestly, to try to get this kill on Skywrath Mage. Really the difference in the Skywrath Mage living or dying involved his movement speed. He ran away from the rock, so that the Brewmaster had to chase forward for so much longer, and then that bought him just enough time. In the meantime, afterShock got a kill on the Jakiro on the bottom lane. I mean, that's certainly a nice pickup for afterShock, but Jakiro was down there for, like, what, a minute? Less than a minute or something like that, and the tower is almost dead already. This is the power of Liquid Fire. This is not even with the full amount of push from XPC. It will get worse for afterShock, and they need to get a couple more of these kills. They need this Blink Dagger on Brew most of all.
Yeah, definitely. Still about 225 gold away from it. Nature's Prophet's going to be going for a little bit of an old school build in the Midas on Kefka. Not sure if I like this. He's been fairly active on the map, and maybe going for upgraded boots or something along those likes would have helped him a little bit more. But as the game progresses, he will be able to transition to some larger items, and as a Nature's Prophet, usually you can get away with this choice. So I think it's fine. 11 minutes in, it's not a bad timing for an offlane Nature's Prophet.
Yeah, it's decently timed, but it's certainly not unpunishable by XPC. It looks like their Invoker with the Staff of Wizardry and a Null Talisman, although I want it to be a Dagon, it's probably not going to be. Jalopy on top lane is going to get hit with the Mystic Flare Sunstrike. My god, doesn't matter who you are, you're not going to survive that. But the Invoker should be going for a Necrobook in this game, just to add a little bit more pushing power, a little bit more oomph there, but Water's going to be jumped now mid. He's going to invoke a Tornado. That's not the right one to invoke. He wanted a Ghost Walk, and that might just kill him off. Yeah, it's the difference between 2 Quas and just 1 Quas right there, so a little bit of a misinvoke by the Invoker will kill him off, but that's only the first Invoker death, and XPC are not going to just lose the Invoker for free. They're going to get a tower up on top lane as well, so it's a trade that they should be okay making.
Yeah, definitely. As long as they don't lose more than the Invoker, they're going to be fine. The Brewmaster, however, toting his newly acquired Blink Dagger as well as a cooldown. It's going to dissipate a smoke, but down in bottom, there's going to be a jump onto Jakiro, disjoins the Magic Missile with the Yule's Scepter, and I lag out.
Okay, well, Spartan is going to be brought down by the split. The Brewmaster is going to be taking that one down. So it is 2 kills going in favor of afterShock. Jakiro once again pushing a little bit too aggressively into the enemy bottom lane tower. I mean, he does have Yule Scepter, which is certainly a very nice item to have on Jakiro, but it's only a Jakiro. Like, afterShock can invest 1 or 2 heroes and completely destroy that Jakiro, and really nothing he could do about that. Fortunately for him, though, his Liquid Fire, I don't know if intentional or not, dropped the tower down to only 5 HP off of deny range. So it is going to work out for XPC decently on the bottom lane in the end, as they don't lose the tower gold, but still, they're bleeding one too many heroes. And when you're running a push comp like this, you kind of are expected to be a little bit behind before you start pushing. But when you're this far behind when you start pushing, things can get a little bit messy, because you're going to be getting gold, but you really need to get that experience as well.
Yeah, definitely. Currently, the graphs are almost zeroed out in both respects. Just a slight lead for XPC Int on both sides. They have a lot of farm on more heroes, but the distribution is more top-heavy for afterShock, especially in the Ember Spirit, who's now working towards Battle Fury. It might be our next spot of an engagement. Black Hole's available for Spartan. Chronosphere still cooling down for 7 seconds on the Faceless Void, but he's going to have that fast enough as well. Toting a new Mask of Madness. With the Liquid Fire as well as an Eidolon army, this tower is going to fall in a heartbeat, with or without creep support.
Boger's actually gone for a lot of Exort, so he could have had a little bit more pushing power even if he went for that 4th point in Quas. Tower's going to be destroyed for sure, and then XPC, I mean, they straight pushed that tower. You straight pushed that one, why not go for a little bit more? Magoma's going to be jumped, silenced up, beaten down by the Faceless Void. Okay, now if they don't go for a tier 2, it's going to just be an objective mistake, as they have a 5v4 advantage. They have Black Hole, they have an Invoker who has quite a lot of damage, and they have all the pushing power that they could possibly want. afterShock, they're going to lose the entirety of their mid lane, and really they don't get any trade anywhere else. They really have to worry about, as well, getting initiated a punch, because Faceless Void, 3 points, Time Walk, and a Chronosphere is incredibly dangerous. So XPC, they're going to take the mid lane, almost for sure. And then I think just because they've taken it so convincingly, they could do the exact same thing on the other lanes.
Yeah, I think that's fair. They're getting some farm of the Ember Spirit down in bottom, as well as some farm on Kefka. Actually, no, Kefka is just chilling out in the woods. I have no idea what he's doing, waiting for the cooldown on one of his TPs, jumping mid. No Chronos for a spend for this one, as Mind Control is able to blink himself away.
And the disengage from XPC, it looks like they should be all able to escape without losing anyone. Although Zeroji, he's getting a little bit closer to the Scarith Mage. Scarith Mage is really quick, and he will survive. Madra is going to be chasing down Kefka, has a Quelling Blade. He will chop down an East Tree. And Kefka, Chronosphere, well, Madra apparently doesn't see him, so it's going to be a clean escape there, but the clean escape is not going to happen down the bottom lane, where Skyrath and the Enigma both are going to get jumped. The Ember Spirit is going to, the Water, rather, is going to be hit by the Fire Spirit. That's what I meant to say, and he's going to drop Zeroji. Dropping pretty low, but he will be able to survive. Ember Spirit claims a whole bunch of kills there in XPC. Well, now they're going to re-engage with the Relax. I don't know what the Jakiro's thinking, but it's not a good idea to 1v5, usually ever. And it's going to give 4 kills to afterShock. I thought that was a clean disengage. It seemed like it was.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know, it looks like they grouped up potentially around the Roshan pit, and then Brewmaster got the jump on them. I was looking top, I thought they'd just go into their jungle and be safe, but apparently that's not the case, and now it's afterShock's turn to go in the Roshan pit. It's not the best Rosh lineup, but they can pop the Lincoln's effect and then drop the Drunken Haze as well as the minus armor from Magoma, and with the Nature's Prophet Treants to tank, it's a fairly secure Roshan, even though it's not as fast.
afterShock, yeah, they are going to take this one, and that's just going to help them next time. They are going to be on the defensive. I don't think it's going to be in afterShock's plans to be going offensive anytime soon. Really, there's no reason to do that. They have pretty much an Ember Spirit with the Battle Fury, 16 minutes in with Drum's Phase Boots. I don't know if I've ever seen an Ember Spirit get this much farm this quickly. He's on top of the net worth chart by quite a decent margin, and really, afterShock, they could just be on the defensive all the time until much later in the game. They will not need to go for any sort of aggressive openings, because they know if they do go out on the map, they're going to be facing up against a Black Hole, a Chronosphere, all sorts of unhappy things. So they're just going to be a little bit defensive right now. And XPC, they're bleeding one too many heroes, I would say. Like, if they just took the mid lane and then backed off, they would be fine, but losing 4 heroes there really set them back.
Yeah, definitely. And beforehand, just every once in a while, you have Faceless Void or Jakiro getting picked off, pushing out a lane a little too aggressively. They need to stop doing that. It's still not anybody's game at this point, but right now afterShock are the ones with the momentum, and that's unfortunate for XPC, because at this point in the game, they're the ones that want to be dictating the pace with, I don't know, just their big cooldowns that have been available and haven't been used.
Well, Madra on the top lane might be set up upon. We do have incoming with the Ember Spirit and Ogre Magi. Though there is a Scarith Mage right behind them, they might be able to get 1 kill, but if anything lands, then I'm pretty sure this Faceless Void is just going to die. Ember Spirit really wants in. He's going to jump in, and wow, look at the Faceless Void get chunked down. That was more than half of his HP before he could do anything, and the chains are going to interrupt his TP out. That was just in the nick of time. They're going to kill off the Void, and Scarlet Mage is going to have no part of that. My god, Jalopy with the Battle Fury got some serious cleave value right there.
Yeah, an entire creep wave getting caught inside that Sleight of Fist, and then the chains coming out the split second before that TP succeeded. TP coming in from the Enigma. He's going to get caught out. Spartan going to be fire blasted after the chains. Drops a Midnight Pulse, but he's going to die to the clap.
That was a terrible idea from the Enigma. I have no idea what the plan was there. Mind Control is also in the air. He will get silenced up, and I think he'll dodge a lot of damage, although Deafening Blast is going to land silence. He's going to get thrown up into the air. Relax might have just saved this Brewmaster's life, and he did, as he does split out. Now the Double Sprout going to kill up the Skywrath Mage, and Relax soon to follow. Jakiro just screwed that entire thing up. Now Water is on the run. He doesn't have a Ghost Walk, and I think that's going to lead to his death. That's going to be 4 heroes down, 5 actually in total, in favor of AfterShock. Man, XPC, they're just falling apart right now, and AfterShock, they're getting pretty much everything they could possibly want. I think now they're far enough ahead to say, screw it, we're going to be offensive because we can.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know, Jakiro kind of screwed the pooch there. Getting that Brewmaster split was huge for AfterShock, and the teamfight execution just seems to be a little bit off for XPC. They didn't have a Faceless Void for the fight since he was picked off beforehand, and I don't know, everything just went wrong. They weren't able to combo their spells like in theory they should be able to, and that's really not great for them. They pretty much fought that 3v5, and that's usually not a fight you can win, even when you're ahead.
And even like Enigma randomly teleporting in, it's pretty much the exact same thing that happened on the bottom lane where Jakiro felt like he could 1v5. Like XPC, they just really have to stop doing these types of things. They just have to calm down and compose themselves because they still have, on paper, the most amazing of team fights. Like if you land a Black Hole onto a couple heroes, Meteor on top of that, like, that will just instantly win you fights several times, but that's not happening since they're not keeping calm. They're going to swap back Spartan, multicast 2 times. Roji is going to take that one. Jalopy is going to do so much damage to that Sleight of Fist once again. Enigma had no idea that was going to happen. There is a pretty nice aggressive Observer Ward from the Dire being placed, so they will know more or less where the Enigma is, and well, Jalopy is becoming a very large problem here. Normally at 20 minutes in the game, yeah, you have to be scared of Ember Spirit, but you don't have to be this scared. Jalopy can, I'm pretty sure, 1v2 pretty much anyone in XPC outside of a Chronosphere Mystic Flare combo.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Right now he's incredibly difficult to deal with and locked down. They have a Eul Scepter into Ice Path to stop him, as well as the Silence coming out from the Skywrath Mage, but outside of ultimates, that's about it. Jalopy doesn't care much for what the Invoker has to offer at this point. And AfterShock are also getting some pretty major items on their other heroes. Kefka is getting really close to getting Orchid for himself, and you have a Brewmaster that now with the Vlads is going to be working into something along the lines of an Aghanim Scepter. Ooh, hopefully I haven't lost Mike, but after that little bit of a pause...
Oh wait, no, I'm here. Yeah.
We're good.
Okay, we're good. So that was the shortest pause of all time, and it seems like we are now back into it. 620, and XPC, they have taken a good amount of towers, but really they've lost pretty much just as much as they have gained. So as far as that is concerned, they're relatively even right now, and they're pretty far behind in the gold experience, 12k experience plus in favor of AfterShock. That's a disgusting amount right now. They may lose a little bit of that advantage as Ember Spirit and Ogre are going to be jumped by everyone at XPC. There's a chance that Ember Spirit survives, although I think Ogre is just going to be dead now. Although the smoke is going to be blown and Ember Spirit is out, Ogre unfortunately does not have a Remnant to jump to. Unfortunately for the Ogre, he's going to eat an entire Mystic Flare. He's still alive after that. That's actually pretty surprising, but he will go down the end. Ember Spirit's going to go back in. This guy's feeling pretty baller. He has maxed out Sleight of Fist, and if he gets a good one, he could get so many kills right now, but he's playing with fire, and he will back off. In the meantime, top lane, the rest of AfterShock are pushing that in. They'll force everyone back. Actually, Relax is very weak right now. He's going to charge forward, and well, the numbers aren't there for AfterShock, so it's just going to be losing the Ogre. As long as they don't lose the Ember Spirit, they should be fine. Jalopy had Aegis, but it timed out.
Yeah, the Ember Spirit, he can afford to play that aggressively, especially when the Enigma's not there, and they already spent the Chronosphere on the solo Ogre, and that Ogre survived an incredible amount of time. Generally a fairly tanky hero, just with his natural stat gain, and also a point booster earn on top of it. That was enough to survive a Mystic Flare Chronosphere combination. With Mask of Madness Maelstrom on a Void, that's almost unheard of.
Yeah, so this Ogre is going to be a very large problem moving forward. His Aghanim Scepter is going to make him a tanky threat and a very high damage threat, and he's already been multicasting quite often. So it's going to be even worse. Mind Control is going to run into Water. There is True Sight there, and Water is going to see him coming. So Mind Control is now going to know what's going on. Actually, he sees the Necro unit, so maybe he doesn't know that there's a sentry there. But either way, he doesn't have a Shadow Blade or anything like that, so it doesn't matter. Zeroji over towards mid is going to hit with the Malphus and a whole bunch of damage to boot. He will get Force Staffed out once, but I don't think it's going to save him. Yule Scepter's there. Mind Control comes in instantly to the split. No, he gets Ice Path. Now Black Hole. Mind Control will not get a split off, even though there was a swap from the VS. It's still going to be Spartan to go down, as Jolpy does come in from behind. He's going to clean up everyone else. That's still a 2-for-3 trade in favor of XPC. Ember Spirit dropping pretty low, and VS should be able to make it home safely. afterShock, I think they can make a defense here if they really wanted to, but that Black Hole and all the Chain Stun coming out pretty much perfectly onto the Brewmaster, and I think that was kind of a partial mistake by Brew blinking into an Ice Path, but, you know, shit happens. You can't really prevent that all the time.
Yeah, as bad as that initiation was, or that started the fight for afterShock, it still works out to be a 2-for-3, and they use Black Hole for it. So it's not the end of the world, especially since Jalopy survived. Skarath Mage, I think he was trying to catch the Ember Spirit immediately as he Remnants in, which is incredibly hard to do. He got the Sleight of Fist off first, and then Skarath Mage ends up silencing a creep, meaning that Ember Spirit's able to escape. I don't think that XPC have enough left in the tank to go for much more than this. The other two lanes are pushing out decently enough, so the tier 2 towers aren't very attractive for XPC to push into, and going high ground at this point is pretty ridiculous, especially up against a Battle Fury Ember Spirit.
Ember Spirit's not even going to counter push that, so even knowing that Ember Spirit's not making a defense, XPC are not willing to go up on the high ground. They couldn't get anything there, maybe a little bit of damage, but it would have been unnecessarily risky. They're once again going to be on the defensive, and when you're working with the core Jakiro, you never really want to be in this sort of position where you can't really comfortably go up into the enemy's towers and try to get at the very least, take some damage out from those towers, or take some health out from those towers, rather. I mean, even if you're not going to get them, that's fine. You have to feel comfortable enough to try to go for it. Otherwise, the core Jakiro is not working out for you. And then it's like, well, Faceless Void is getting a decent amount of farm. The Invoker is as well, but you don't really have any sort of third hero to really put that all together as the Jakiro normally would. And now afterShock, they're going to smoke up his 3, and they will most likely run into this Enigma.
Yeah, it seems that Enigma is dead, and he might not know it yet. Zerochi's walking forward, Spartan is none the wiser. He's going to be ignited up, fire blasted up, maybe. Not even fire blast, there we go. It's going to be a clap and a crit to do him in, as Brewmaster finds himself a kill. Smoke for a kill on a support, definitely worth it for afterShock, especially since they only committed 3 of their heroes.
Yeah, any sort of kill you get on any hero right now for afterShock is just buying you more and more space, and that of course means Ember Spirit is going to be getting that much more cash. He's going to drop Relax down to half HP. I think that was just one Sleight of Fist. Like, I wasn't watching that, but I think that's probably a safe assumption. Ember Spirit is going to get circled, and now he's in a little bit of trouble. The Ice Path is going to land, as well as Sunstrike. He will get silenced and tornadoed, which might actually buff up the silence. No, it won't. It'll be the death of the Ember Spirit. It's an unstoppable streak going the way of the Invoker. A lot of necessary gold for him, and a really nice pick-off for XPC. Maybe the Ember Spirit getting a little bit too overconfident with how much damage he's doing. Kind of forgets that he actually has not much health.
Yeah, definitely, and they have ways to catch him out. That's pretty much the only way that they have, but as long as they have the Jakiro and the Skarath Mage there, they can keep him in place long enough in order to get that kill, and Water was able to line up the Sunstrike. Although the Tornado was more or less unnecessary, they're going to find a nice pickoff. For now, the rest of the players are going to be up in top. They get a multicast into Madeira, doesn't get a backtrack on any of that. Jump in for Mind Control, the clap misses. Sunstrike going to land onto Zeroji, as is the macro part, but they don't have enough damage. Immediately kill off this Ogre and swap from the bench. It's going to keep Zeroji alive as they come away with a 1-for-1 trade after losing Nature's Prophet. Fire Blast, now a clap under Relax. They have another Magic Missile cooling down, but they're not even going to need it as Brewmaster's just going to clap him down.
Man, so it's just afterShock surviving with the Ogre, once again showing off his tankiness. And the rest of the team just cleaning up thereafter, taking up a couple of kills, and well, just once again keeping XPC off of the afterShock base. And now Ember Spirit's back up alive. He's level 16. He's well on his way to his Daedalus, actually, close to his Demon Edge. This is getting slowly more and more out of hand for XPC. They want to be pushing right now, and they, at this point, have to back up and rely almost purely on Faceless Void Chronosphere combos in order to win them the game. It's pretty powerful for sure, as well, Kefka's going to jump right into said Chronosphere. Madra should have enough damage. So with the Sunstrike, he will. So Nature's Prophet teleporting to the wrong place at the wrong time.
Yeah. Brewmaster was pulling a lot of gold beforehand, but now commits into the Black King bar. With the BKB, getting off his ultimate should be more or less instant. He's going to be forced to use it now as they do get a Malefice as well as the silence onto him. He's also going to split. I'm not sure if it was necessary. He's going to go into Spartan, try and get this kill on the Enigma beforehand. The Illusions, or rather Brewlings, don't do enough damage in order to get this. Needs to back off with the Earth Panda after this boulder, but now the Ember Spirit's joining the fray with a Sleight of Fist bouncing in pretty much everything. Now Black Hole committed just onto 2 Brewlings. Ice Path is also going to land through. Doesn't do much as the Sleight of Fist cleans up both the Sky and the Enigma. Now working into water. He's going to be able to get off his, excuse me, invis. The sentry on the ground is going to make sure that his retreat is not secured, and afterShock are going to come away with a 3-for-1 if you include that Nature's Prophet pick off previous.
Well, the Faceless Void is going to maybe take a tier 2 tower in exchange, but I don't really know if that's going to be enough. Jalopy really wants it on this Jakiro. He won't find it, even with the Nature's Prophet teleporting in. Kefka's got to be a little bit careful about doing that since last time I got him killed, but it is going to be a tower going the way of XPC, but it's going to be a tower also for afterShock. In that regard, I guess you could say an even trade. At least XPC get some sort of win after all of that, but now they're going to have to defend. Their Invoker's not up in 30, and honestly, I don't know if they can make a defense without their Invoker. There is, to be fair, no split on afterShock, but Jalopy is really the problem hero. He has his Daedalus completed, and if he's not completely locked down and dealt with, then he's just going to be running a train all over your team. Madra doesn't have a... Wow, Skanks almost died in one hit. Madra does not have a Chronosphere yet, so without that, there's no chance that XPC can make this defense. So it's going to be free time for Jalopy to just poke away and for the Nature's Prophet to get a couple right clicks here and there on the tower.
Yeah, right now it's a slow and steady push. Drops the tier 3 tower to about half. Without creeps backing them up, afterShock are going to have to delay this for a little bit longer and potentially are going to go in the Roshan pit. Nature's Prophet TPs up towards top, and the rest of heroes are making a beeline towards that Roche pit. They should be able to take it with just these 3 heroes, and as well as the Brewmaster adding that Drunken Haze. They have plenty of damage in order to do so.
Alright, so they're going to back off and take Roshan, mostly just because they can. Nothing that XPC can do about this. On paper, they would be able to demolish A-Shock in this Roshan pit. Like, they have all the best Roshaning heroes, but it's too late. It's dead already, and now Ember Spirit has a double life. He can now play super suicidally and still get away with it, because he will at the very least bring someone down with him, and then lose the Aegis, and then probably bring someone else down with him before he goes down for the second time, if he does at all. I think afterShock, they don't have to go for a push right now, although really there's no reason not to, aside from just the threat of enemy ultimates. Why not get another Daedalus or another Battle Fear on Ember Spirit? Because he's getting pretty much everything you possibly want.
Yeah, I think that they can at least go for this bottom lane. It's already not looking too healthy, and in order to kill off this Ember Spirit, I think that XPC need at least one of their big ultimates, the Chrono or the Black Hole. So as long as one of those doesn't catch out the Ember Spirit, he can pretty much just jump in and continue to Sleight of Fist. We saw how much damage they took previously. Scarlet Mage was almost 100-0'd in one Sleight of Fist after the crit. Yeah, which is insane. And if they're cut out with some creeps, that could be even larger. Right now, nobody's going to be caught out by the Sleight of Fist, but a jump in from the Brewmaster, he's instantly silenced, gets BKB off, and now going to drop the split. Spartan already dropped a half, as is the Jakiro by the Sleight of Fist, and with that extra Brewling damage, should be enough to get off this kill on Spartan, but he is going to be mech'd up. In the meantime, they're taking down the structures. One of the Brewlings is going to die, but the melee barracks is exposed, and now focused down by Jalopy. They silence up the Wind Panda, but the Earth Panda is on the backlines, should be safe, and oh my goodness, that poor Jakiro did not know it hit him. The chains, as well as one crit, was all they needed. Jump in from Madera, looking for the Chrono. He can't find the Chrono. BKB spent for absolutely nothing. They are going to find Mind Control up in the high ground, but it's a defensive swap away from Mental Spirit into the Meteor. However, Deafening Blast combo into Mind Control. It's going to be Aegis down the Ember Spirit. He's coming back shortly, but the Brewmaster isn't so lucky to have that second life. Black Hole on the top of this fight as Magoma as well as Zeroji are caught up, but Spartan's the one that's taking too much damage. Jalopy's cleaning house now inside the enemy base, chasing down the poor Skanks. He's going to be crit down, and we're going to have a pause.
This is a random disconnect. The guy has buyback, but he's not going to travel. Just unpause it and finish this fight, guys. Seriously. Right now, XPC, they're more or less on their deathbed. They bought back with the Enigma, and he has a mech, which is pretty much the only thing he has. Honestly, he can't really contribute that much afterwards. Water is stunned up, just got it with a magic missile. There is an Ignite there, but I think Magoma might be dying right now. Unless Ember Spirit, he is silenced right now, so he can't instantly help. He will kill off the Scarlet Mage, and then I think Water's going to kill off the Vengeful Spirit. But I think Water's also going to go down here. He's going to get ignited. Magoma going to fight to the death. Water is going to get Orchided up, and he's going to be multicasted down. Kefka's still alive, and he will be taking a little bit of damage here and there, but he will make it out. Only the Enigma is left, and I don't think the Enigma can do this. Fortunately for XPC, they still have tier 2 standing, so afterShock can't go for anything else, but still, they take Raxes.
Yeah, definitely, and at this point in the game, it's 30 minutes in, and arguably they have better late game as long as they don't get initiated upon. They're not really reliant on those big cooldowns, and now with an Aghanim Scepter on your Ogre Magi, there's really nothing stopping them. They, as you said, can't go for the barracks, but that's soon to be remedied as these tier 2 towers probably aren't going to last very long. XPC, if they want to defend those, they're going to have to spend a lot of their large cooldowns in order to do so, and that's just not feasible when, if they lose the fight with those cooldowns, they're going to lose high ground because of it.
If they're going to use a Chronosphere or a Black Hole, and if it doesn't catch both the Ember Spirit and the Vengeful Spirit, the Ember Spirit and the Vengeful, yeah, that's right, there's a whole lot of spirits in this game. If it doesn't catch both of them, then I honestly don't see XPC taking a fight. Like, they took the Aegis out of Jalopy, which is fantastic. I mean, that's the first step in what you have to do, but the Vengeful Spirit with the swap, the Ember Spirit with just his amount of damage he's just putting out, like the raw numbers, is just way too much for XPC to deal with. Like, we saw the Jakiro getting almost dropped in one hit. The Scarith Mage, I think, will be dropped in one hit, and everyone else should be fine potentially, but there is another Daedalus, I believe, coming. No, another Battle Fury for the Ember Spirit. So, yeah, I mean, this is getting to one-hit kill territory, and, I mean, it doesn't really matter if he doesn't get a one-hit kill. It's just the fact that it's possible. Mind Control and now Magoma both can get caught in the Chronosphere. That's going to be death of the Mind Control. Does that actually matter? Magoma's Gauss is going to get pushed back from the Deafening Blast. BKB onto Madra. He's going to swap himself out, and now Jalopy's in a lot of trouble. No, Magoma, what are you doing? Well, actually, Ember Spirit's going to kill everyone. That's what he's doing. He's going to get hit with the Ice Path, dropping pretty low. Needs another Sleight of Fist, but he won't get it off. Water barely surviving that. Here comes the heroes from the back end. Spartan and a bot back Jalopy is going to go straight for the Enigma, and they will take him out in a hurry. Madra now going to try to face up against this Ogre. The multicast will miss, actually. It's casted on a creep. Madra really looking for an angle right now. He's going to get one more Sleight of Fist, which might kill him off. Not quite, but the chain should do it. Time Walk, burn. There it is. It's a triple kill for Jalopy. Having to buy back, not exactly the best, but he cleans house regardless. There is buyback on XPC, and they still have these tier 2 towers up, so they're not in any danger of losing Raxes, at least not right now, but still, they take another fight that they just can't afford to take anymore.
Yeah, definitely, and even though Jalopy bought back, he's at the exact same amount of gold that he had before the buyback and is getting dangerously close to another Daedalus. Those Sleight of Fists are ridiculous. I mean, look at that. That's a Jakiro that's generally a fairly tanky hero, dropped to less than half, and now multicast onto Water. They have another Fire Blast soon, but not soon enough. Water's going to be able to waddle his back towards base. Eul Scepter on the Jakiro, blink away towards the base as Nature's Prophet's looking for the dive, finds the Invoker, and now onto Skanks. They're going to throw an unrefined Fire Blast. The Sleight of Fist is not going to be enough to kill him, but the Chains Burn will. Now Kefka inside his own Sprout is in a bit of a pickle as Badera is going to be able to bash him down. Triple buyback coming out from XPC. Can they do anything with this? I don't think so. afterShock are going to be happy to just retreat after this, forcing out 3 heroes to buy back.
Man, it's just a matter of time before afterShock get this going. Every single time they fight, they kill off more heroes than XPC get, and they force out buybacks. So eventually XPC, their gold is going to start running dry, their buyback timers are going to run out. And, I mean, they used one buyback from Jalopy. I don't believe anyone from afterShock used any buybacks aside from that. No, it seems like everyone... Oh, no. Yeah, it seems like we're good there. So, I mean, it's getting really dangerous for XPC. Like, they are so close to death right now, but they're just hanging on mostly because of their buybacks. Still, they have, like, the Dream Black Hole, and, well, they're going to find a couple of supports right now as Zeroji and Magoma get caught out. They're also going to get a Eul Cyclone onto Mind Control, but I don't know if they have enough. Well, the Black Hole, they certainly will. Mind Control is going to take a fall here, although the damage is very limited. He will Force Staff out, and now the Ember Spirit's going to clean house, killing off Skanks with one Sleight of Fist chain combo. He will get Time Walked upon narrowly dodging an Ice Path, but do you really want to be chasing an Ember Spirit? It's probably not the best way to use your time. It's going to be a 1-for-3 trade, although Ember Spirit is still alive, and he's the one you really have to kill. Once you kill the Ember, you could look towards the high ground, but until that happens, Ember, I think, could just turn around and kill Madra, but he's instead trying to run away. Jalopy is going to Sleight of Fist, awaits some creeps, as here comes Kefka with the Desolator. Madra's taking quite a bit of damage, although he will survive. Jalopy is going to not hit with the Sunstrike, but now he's going to turn his sights and go for Water. 2 shots, going to kill off the Invoker, easy peasy there. Now the Enigma is going to come in. Jalopy dropping pretty low, needs another Sleight of Fist, but he's chain stunned perfectly, will go down. Kefka, in the meantime, dueling the Jakiro, will win that one. Now trying to duel Spartan. It's going to be close. The Midnight Pulse is going to get it. Enigma survives at 80 HP. It's, I guess you could say, a win for XPC, but they kind of have to tend to their base now.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Now Nature's Prophet biting back. He wants Spartan so bad, and he's not going to get him. Spartan's back into the base. Well, that's a wasted buyback, so I think that's a straight-up win. Desolator attack's going to follow him into the base and then probably be disjointed, but this is an Enigma that has to defend up against these creeps, which is not an easy task, and Nature's Prophet is going to put that buyback into some damage onto these barracks, focusing the range. Not sure if he can actually commit to this entirely, but now with some backup, he should be able to range barracks down to 16 HP, but now Kefka in a bit of a pickle is going to be concussive shot as well as silenced up. Now turning into the Scarth Mage, one auto attack is all that he gets off, and oh my goodness, Brewmaster, get your internet together, man. We really need to not have these pauses. The auto pause feature is nice, but I don't think having it when it's only one person is necessary.
So Nature's Prophet, it looks like he is in a little bit of trouble, but what's going to happen is that he's going to get swapped out because Magoma has a level 3 swap, and then just a whole bunch of pain for these two heroes. Like, they actually don't have that much damage. Skanks will have a little bit more once this Orchid runs out, but I don't think he will be able to withstand this Vengeful Spirit damage. She isn't really holding a lot of damage, but she has a Yasha Power Treads. She will be able to put a lot of hurt into this very soft Scarth Mage. So I expect Kefka to get swapped out, and then Skanks to take a Magic Missile, and then Skanks is going to die. And that's going to happen very soon. Swap out. Magic Missile. Oh man, I'm wrong, but Spartan's still going to be the one to take a lot of damage. Mystic Flare is going to drop onto Magoma. Kefka's going to blink straight in again. Spartan with the BKB up, not going to get chain stunned, and he will dodge a Sprout. Kefka still taking quite a bit of damage from these Eidolons, but here comes the Brewmaster. Spartan's BKB is running dry, and he will go down. The Scarth Mage will be the one to fall, as now Enigma desperately wants out from this Ogre Magi. Fire Blast canceled, I believe, but they don't have to go for the Enigma. They're going to take the second set of Raxes instead. I guess that's fine. You might as well go for Axis. Here comes the Faceless Void. Has a Chronosphere available if he can get it off, but he gets multicasted twice, and multicasted twice more. They're going to kill off the Ogre Magi almost for sure, although there's no Ice Path. They will be able to just beat him down. Ember Spirit's not up to bail out his Ogre friend, and Ogre Magi is surviving for quite a long time, but he will go down. In the meantime, Spartan, chasing after this Vengeful Spirit, is not going to catch this Venge. You have a Yule Scepter, which is, I guess, nice for movement speed, but Venge has a Yasha. She's moving pretty quick as well. That's 2 sets of Raxes. In the meantime, top lane tier 2 is brought down just by creep, so afterShock, slowly but surely, are eating into XPC's base.
Yeah, and I think that's going to remain the case for the entirety of this game. XPC, they might have hope of comboing their team fight together. Even though they're down 2 lanes, that doesn't really impact their ability to drop a Black Hole Chronosphere onto everybody. But even so, taking the base after the fact is going to be a tall order, especially if buybacks are available. Unfortunately for afterShock, 2 minutes until Ember Spirit has his available and still some gold to farm up since he just completed an entire Scotty. But now the Ember Spirit is incredibly hard to deal with. If he had a BKB, I don't think they can kill him. But I don't know, it's personal preference, I suppose. XPC, most of their damage, even though they have right clicks and bashes, a lot of it is magical, even from the Faceless Void. Currently with a Mask of Madness as well as a Mjolnir, a lot of it's based on the magical damage proc from the bash as well as the magic damage proc from the Mjolnir. And then the Invoker's damage is all magical, as are all of the supports.
Yeah, so it's not looking too good for XPC. BKB on Ember would make him more or less unkillable. Chronosphere and Black Hole, maybe they have enough physical to kill off the Ember Spirit through the BKB, but it's going to be really narrow if it does, and if it will happen, that would involve literally everyone from XPC hitting the Ember Spirit, while everyone from afterShock is going to be running around doing whatever they want while that happens. Oh, Courier Snipe, Kefka, gonna add a little bit of insult to that injury. I mean, you might as well just kill off their courier. I mean, no items for them means that there's no chance for comeback. Their base is being pushed in right now, and afterShock, they are going to send Nature's Prophet in. Teleportation back from the Scarth Mage is not exactly the hero you want to have when so many enemy heroes can just jump in on him and kill him off within a couple of hits, but XPC, they're going to fall back, and afterShock, I mean, I don't want to say that this game is over, but honestly, what can XPC do about this situation? They're going to find Kefka. I mean, I guess if afterShock just keep throwing heroes into the enemy base one at a time, that's representing a nice comeback opportunity.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Let's see, it looks like we might have a little bit of a stream issue. There's going to be chains on water and mid, but Ember Spirit doesn't have any backup there, and Invoker is probably one of the hardest heroes for him to kill, especially since he has no detection on his person. But let me check. It looks like the stream is fine.
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah. Oh, that's unfortunate. Yeah, I'm not dropping any frames. Looks like we're fine.
Alright, well, if the stream isn't working for you, then, you know, have you tried turning it off and turning it back on again?
Yeah, I don't know. As many times as you might have heard that, it's, I don't know, probably the best course of action.
Standard IT support.
Yeah. Well, we're in a bit of a lull in the action as the Nature's Prophet did die in bottom, and it doesn't look like afterShock are willing to take the fight without him. They're still fighting up against a black hole, although with no Blink Dagger, BKB on the Enigma is going to make sure that he's going to be able to get that off unless there's a Vengeful Spirit swap, which, with Magoma's positioning, has been pretty good.
Ice Path is going to catch just Roshan, and Macropyre is going to drop. It's going to put a lot of fire everywhere. Actually, the Faceless Void is going to catch Magoma up on the high ground. I don't think Vengeful Spirit will be able to get out. No, she's going to put Mind Control in harm's way. Now the split. I don't know if this is enough because Faceless Void can survive this and just time walk away. In the meantime, Jalopy, he's messing with water and Skanks both. He's dropping very low very quickly. He's going to go down. Has buyback, but XPC, they pick off the Ember Spirit, and they also have a Brewmaster up on the high ground who can't do anything from up here except for throw a rock or something like that. He will have a Blink out once he returns back to his main form, but Roshan might be a possibility right now for XPC. Still, they have to worry about their base because Nature's Prophet is doing some shenaniganry in the back lines. Mind Control, can he interrupt any TPs? He can't because he doesn't have any crowd control, but he will maybe go for Skanks. One hit to it. That's going to be the Skywrath Mage down. Now Madra is going to be focused down by Jalopy, who bought back and is going to rush into this fight. Spartan is going to try TP, and he will be able to make it out alive, but that's going to be Roshan, I guess, defended from afterShock. They have to use the buyback on the Ember Spirit, but he's wealthy enough to do so. It's going to be actually relaxed and in a lot of trouble. He will be able to TP out as well. Good game is called. I don't know why they call it now as opposed to like 5 minutes ago. Nothing changed, like exactly nothing changed, but that's fine. I guess we're done here.
Yeah, I don't know. Their tier 4 fell and it was pretty obvious that it was over, but then again, it is a good game, well played. Thanks for watching. We're going to have game number 2 coming up shortly as soon as the Ancient explodes, and we'll be back with you. Let's see.
Shout out to Copenhagen, WG's mom.
Yeah, I think that's about all that we have to wrap it up here. We've been HeflaTV, and we'll bring you some more Join Dota League Season 4 after a little bit of an ad break and some music.